Okay, guys, let's get started. So, a couple quick items before we get started with the speeches. If you are a voting delegate, you should be seated at one of these 4 tables in the front that are marked reserved for delegates. Okay, if you're not, we want to make sure you move to one of those spots. If you are also a voting delegate, when you came in, you should have checked in with Mr. Miller, got your barcode scanned, and gotten a sheet of paper. Laura Marion, what are we doing? Okay, also should have gotten a sheet of paper like this from me, okay? This sheet of paper, I'm not joking, worth its weight in gold. Do not lose it, okay? You need this to be able to vote tomorrow. What I would strongly, strongly recommend, take a picture, just in case something happens to it, which never does, but sometimes it does. Okay, take a picture. Tomorrow, we're gonna have the kiosk set up here for voting. You will need to bring this piece of paper with you to be able to check in to vote. You will not be able to vote until tomorrow morning, starting between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. If there's questions about that, let me know. What we're gonna do, we're doing things a little bit differently. The candidates submitted their videos to us in advance. We have a video for you to watch of all of the candidate videos. At the conclusion of the candidate videos, we're going to bring the candidates up on stage and you'll have your traditional Q&A session. Okay, we'll do a couple quick directions for Q&A once we get to that point. Any questions for the greater good at this point? No? Okay, Mr. Miller is gonna start the candidate video. It's gonna go through each candidate, or office, I'm sorry, position and the candidates for that office. I would strongly encourage you, watch carefully, take some notes, so you guys have some other ideas you wanna ask for your Q&A session. Okay, thank you. Thanks, Mr. Miller.
Little too dramatic. The truth is, TSA is facing a lot of new challenges as we come out of the pandemic. But with the right leadership and innovative ideas, I know we can get out of this stronger than when we came in. The first big problem, falling membership. You may have noticed in your own TSA that there are fewer members and that you have trouble recruiting new ones. We need to attack this problem from multiple angles. We need to step up as an organization and make TSA a welcoming place for groups that have historically been underrepresented in STEM. This will give us a new pool to recruit from and can happen at the state and local level. Second, we need to give TSA teams the tools they need to do proper outreach. My plan for this is simple. At the state conference, we can host an outreach workshop where members can come in and create videos, pamphlets, and other targeted advertising, all with the proper tools and expertise. That way, as they head into next year, they have ready-made advertisements so they can recruit new members. The other big problem we have to deal with is the loss of local TSA teams. Many teams didn't make it through the pandemic. To help pull in new teams and restart old ones, we should waive registration fees for new and revived teams. In addition to solving the problems of today, we need to look towards the future. Every year, we work very hard for TSA. I want TSA to work just as hard for you once you graduate. That means strengthening our alumni network, connecting our seniors and alums with colleges, internships, and industries. This video is almost over and I haven't introduced myself. My name is Elijah Adu and I'm running to be your Sergeant at Arms. I know I'm the guy for the job because the same problems facing your chapter faced mine. However, by using the strategies I outlined, I was able to not only maintain, but grow my chapter through the pandemic. Not to mention, I've been in TSA for over 5 years and served on statewide committees serving your interests. So, when voting, remember, do it right with a do. Thank you.
Hello PATSA, my name is Avantia Tole, and I'm running to be your 2022-2023 State Sergeant Arms. Now before we get into the initiatives I would implement if elected, let's talk about why I'm qualified for the position. This year I was my chapter's Vice President, and the year before I was my chapter's Treasurer. I was also Region 3's President this year, and I was Region 3's Vice President the year before. I've also served on all 6 state committees. I've served on NSP for 3 years, and I've also served on regional reps for 3 years. I was Region 3's lead rep this year. I've also served on Outreach, BARC, and CSAC for 2 years, and I've served on CAPC for a year. Now that we know that I'm qualified for the position of State Sergeant Arms, let's talk about the 2 main initiatives I would like to implement if elected. My first initiative would be about re-implementing and restructuring our Fall Flex Conference. Our first in-person Fall Flex conference had 2 levels. Level 1 was middle school and level 2 was high school. I want to keep the same 2-level format, but level 1 would be for first-time attendees and level 2 would be if you're attending for the second time, your third time, or your fourth time. Level 1 would focus on how to grow your membership and how to create an officer team, while level 2 would focus on club dynamics, and it would focus on how to get the most out of your members. My second initiative focuses on the conference sessions and activities committee that I would be co-chairing with the parliamentarian. Currently, CSAC members make suggestions about new special interest sessions that the committee will implement. However, I want to get feedback from all of you about what sessions you want to see, because the state conference is for you. I would work with a reporter to put out a form on our Instagram where you guys could submit ideas about what special interest sessions you want to see at the state conference. The Conference Sessions and Activities Committee will then work to see which one of these sessions are plausible and then implement them. These are my 2 main initiatives if elected, but if you want to learn more about my campaign, please check out my social media page. And remember, when voting, vote Avanti for your 2022-2023 State Sergeant at Arms.
In these past 5 years, a lot about me has changed. However, one thing about me will never seem to be different, and that is, each year, I eagerly await to compete in an organization known to many as TSA. TSA is a part of me that I never want to change, which is why I want to ensure that every member who signs up for TSA at the beginning of the year has the same positive experiences that I do at all the competitions that they attend. PATSA, my name is Julia Crosco, and I'm thrilled to be running to be your next Sergeant at Arms. Over the past 2 years, while serving as this year's CSAC Vice Chair and being part of committees such as Regional Representatives, National Service Project, and being a chapter officer, TSA has had to make drastic changes in order to accommodate to the rapidly changing COVID-19 virus. However, due to this, many new and returning members have never set foot in the Seven Springs Resort. I want to ensure that both new and returning members have a member-led experience with the state conference. This can be done by supplying members with a virtual map of the conference that lists both where the room events are being held in and creating a special interest session specific for giving tips about the state conference from TSA alumni and veterans. While improving the quality of our state conference, I will also improve our online presence as an organization. This can be done by creating interactive videos explaining upcoming special interest sessions to the PATSA's YouTube and Instagram. As for our website, many tabs such as the Event Gallery tab haven't been updated in the past 6 years. This page can be amended to show off successful examples of the events that include both portfolios and displays, making this page exceptional for members who are unsure about the specifics of their event. As Sergeant at Arms, I will create a form that members can fill out declaring whether or not they would like their event published to the event gallery if their event does place in the top 10. A vote for Julia is a vote to improve our state conference and our membership experience with TSI, and I can assure you that right now, the Sergeant at Arms position will be just better with Julia.
With canceled conferences and virtual events, these past 2 years have been filled with uncertainty. But I've learned one thing is certain, and that's the resiliency of Pennsylvania TSA members. Now, as we move back to Seven Springs for the first time in over 2 years, I believe it's time to construct a brighter future together, and that's why I'm running for state office. Hey, Pennsylvania TSA, I'm Evan Kahn, and I'm running for the office of PATSA Sergeant at Arms. Over my past 6 years as a PATSA member, I've served in a variety of leadership positions, including 3 terms as a Region 3 officer, 2 terms as my high school president, and on a variety of state committees. These experiences have allowed me to see the needs of Pennsylvania TSA members, and from here I've developed my 3 initiatives that will target the biggest issues impacting our delegation. I plan to increase communication, to have resources for new members, and to forge new relationships. So first, communication. In the past few years, communication has improved dramatically between the state officer team and our delegation, but I believe we need to capitalize on this positive momentum and to utilize social media more effectively and to use more platforms to connect with as many students as possible. Second, as your Sergeant at Arms, I'd create resources for new PATSA members. I can remember joining TSA as a curious 6th grader, being so overwhelmed with all the projects and things I had to do. But if elected, I would work with our delegation to find the best advice for new members and post them on the website, as well as creating new interactive resources to ease the worries of our new members. Finally, I plan to forge new relationships. Our state is home to many great technical organizations, companies, and colleges, but many of them simply don't know what TSA is. I plan to work with the other officers and committees to forge relationships with these organizations and invite them to Seven Springs as we move back for the first time in over 2 years. So, PATSA, let's construct a brighter future together with me, Evan Kahn, as your next PATSA Sergeant Arms.
PATSA is just like this post-it note. It is helpful for many things, just like how PATSA has many benefits like explorations to new topics, scholarships, a way of making friends, and even for fun. Likewise, both are great the way they are, but they could be something greater.
Hey PATSA, my name is Charlize Amper and I'm running to be your next state reporter. Before jumping into my initiatives, let's go over what makes me wealthy. Currently, I'm a sophomore and this is my 4th year in TSA. In those years, I've served as my chapter's president, vice president, and secretary. Within those roles, I've learned to lead meetings, plan agendas, and help members in my chapter. I also created a social media page for my chapter and currently create and post all the content. Outside of my chapter, I served as a regional officer. I helped plan aspects of my regional conference, wrote newsletter articles, and met with chapter representatives. I love graphic design and learning new things, so naturally I'm a member of CAPSI. Enough about me, let's get on with what I can do for TSA.
A PATSA TikTok. Hear me out. Many people enjoy videos over long worded posts, and this solves the easy solution of not being able to use specific copyrighted material on Instagram Reels. I want this form of social media to be fun, creative, and to showcase things like small tips and trick segments, Q&A sessions, and behind-the-scenes content.
TSA Guide for Dummies / How to TSA.
I want to help everybody in TSA, especially newer members in smaller chapters. This guide would include segments about how to fundraise, membership ideas, how to pick events, and much, much more. This is to be a collaborative document written by current members, alumni, and advisors.
Statewide game night. Currently, I feel as though some of us are still seeing each other as competitors instead of potential friends. I want to introduce statewide game nights in order to increase involvement and interactions between regions. Monthly fundraisers and giveaways. I want to set a new fundraising goal for the ACS every month. Top fundraisers will receive prizes and giveaways. Regional Instagrams. Sometimes I feel as though some regions are overlooked, and I believe that each region should have a chance to shine. I want each region to have its very own Instagram page. Members of CAPSI would take on this task, and as reporter, I would oversee each one. Website improvements. As helpful and functional as the PATSA website is, it could use a little help on the visual side. Of course, all the links and information would completely be the same. All that would change would just be the look. I hope you vote for me as your next state reporter. Remember, life's a breeze with Charlize.
Welcome back, PATSA. In our comeback year, we have sorted out all the regional conferences, and I plan to see all the hard work we have done in our first in-person state competition since 2019. Hello, everyone. My name is Shobham Gupta, and I'm running to be your next state reporter. I'm an 11th grade student at Cumberland Valley High School, and this is my 5th year in TSA. TSA has been a great passion of mine and taught me so much in my 5-year journey that started as the first Good Hope student to compete at the state conference in 2018. As your state reporter, I want to use my experience to serve as the compass for all students, guiding them to present their best selves both in TSA and in general. My time at TSA has taught me immersed leadership skills that I use in my current role as the CVTSA reporter and the Region 3 Vice President. I'm also part of the CAPSI and Outreach State Committees and a first student that has had the honor of leading my team in the first Tech Challenge and mentoring the first global team of Country Baileys. As an officer, my focus has been on giving back and improving the lives of peers and the community around me, be it by developing a system using Google Drive of one-pager descriptions and how-to guides to be successful in specific events, or even raising $3,300 for our CVTSA, collaborating with Double Good. If given the amazing opportunity to be your state reporter, I want to build upon the foundation further and create a system that provides help and examples to allow both current and new students to better understand the event beyond the rulebook. I would also look to continue the great work this year's officers put in and expand their newsletter ideas, Discord channel, and expand the TSA community by reaching out to more students and schools so PATSA continues to grow and succeed for years to come. I'm confident of using my varied experience to build together an amazing experience, not only for current, but also for future PATSA members. Let's set up the organization for success for many years to come by being the change we want to see in the world. I hope to see you at the 2022 state conference, and don't forget to vote for Shobham. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Hannah Shifter, and I am running to be your next state reporter. My main initiative is to help welcome new and prospective members into PATSA through creating a new members guide and streamlining our recruitment process. It is clear that recruitment comes mostly at the chapter level, So I want to provide chapters with more resources like posters and video campaigns to convince prospective members to join. The new members guide that I'd create would explain the leadership and organizational structure of TSA. And it would explain basic terms ranging from more general technology terms to more TSA-specific terms. Furthermore, I'll make sure that our website is easy to navigate and accessible. For new and prospective members, a professional, up-to-date website makes a world of difference. We, as PATSA, need to present ourselves professionally, but still show that we are an exciting organization to be a part of. To do this, I will add pictures of people participating in events and competitions to the PATSA website, and institute regular posts like Throwback Thursday on our social media. I will also create templates for chapters to use on their own individual social medias to create a more unified Pennsylvania TSA look. My leadership and recruitment experience outside of TSA will help me to look at our organization from a fresh perspective. I founded a Scouts BSA girls troop from the ground up. I was team captain of my soccer team for a number of years, and I am the chair of the Membership and Recruitment Committee for Westchester BBYO. There is no doubt that I have experience in communication and recruitment, so I want to bring that experience to PATSA to help better our organization. Shift over and vote Shifter for reporter.
When you think of TSA, you think of honor, dedication, diversity, and collaboration. Being a part of TSA has encouraged me to take initiative and learn what PATSA really needs. I've been inspired by the TSA experience, allowing me to creatively showcase my talent and my skills. Following the downfall of COVID-19, TSA has been left more vulnerable than ever. We need someone who is knowledgeable, experienced, and capable to guide us through these rough times. I am Saharsha Navani, and I am the right man for this job. If I am selected as state treasurer, I will ensure the correct distribution of money, resources, and support whenever and wherever it may be needed. Prior to STEM, I served as the vice president of the National Junior Honor Society and the vice president of TSA in Lineville Middle School. In the process of honing my leadership skills, I hosted numerous fundraisers and events for my chapter. With my experience in leading these organizations, I've developed relations with my community, discovered common areas of struggle, and improved my expertise in fundraising. My persistence is the vital key to my success so far in school, and I know it will serve me well as a TSA State Treasurer. Vote Saharsha Navani for TSA State Treasurer at the PATSA State Conference. Thank you.
Hello PATSA. I'm super excited to have the opportunity to run as treasurer for the 2022 to 2023 school year. I just wanted to come and talk about 3 qualities that I think are really important for a treasurer, and I think I embody all 3 of these very well. The first I want to touch upon is accountability. Accountability is super important for a treasurer, as they're the one managing all the money that comes in or out. For instance, when you have running a fundraiser program, it's super important for the treasurer to be held accountable for their actions, as they're the one managing a lot of the money that's coming in and out, as I touched upon before. Similarly, the communication aspect of being a treasurer is often overlooked. Communication as a treasurer is super important, as you need to be able to properly communicate and lead the fellow members of the state officer team, as well as all of the members of PATSA as a whole. Being a good communicator is super important, because without proper communication skills, you'll not be able to get your point across and allow your voice to be heard. Lastly, I want to touch upon respect. Respect is super important, because you have to not only respect your fellow state officers, your advisors, but each and every member of PATSA as a whole. Not only is it important to respect this, but it's important to respect every single culture and every difference that happens among us. Pennsylvania is a massive place, so it's super important to not only respect each person, but cultures as a whole. So all in all, I feel that these 3 qualities I really do embody very well, and it's super important for a treasurer to be able to do. I really hope you vote for me, Saho already, and consider me for the position of 2022 to 2023 treasurer. Thank you.
Hi PATSA, my name is William Reisner. I'm so excited to run to be our next state treasurer, and I can't wait to finally return to an in-person state conference in a few weeks. TSA is a strong passion of mine, and I hope to bring my love for the organization to members across the state. As chair for the National Service Project Committee, I believe we can increase our ACS fundraising to incredible heights. As your state treasurer, I will make it my mission to expand our ACS fundraising both on the state and local level. The state officer team will meet with officer teams from other states to discuss the fundraising methods they use. To bring these strategies to PATSA, we will meet with specific chapters to go over with them how they can boost their fundraising. Chapters will be able to request meetings with state officers who can help them plan specific fundraising events. Additionally, the state officer team will reach out to chapters it feels could benefit from assistance in planning for fundraising opportunities. To incentivize exemplary fundraising, chapters that make a conscious effort to increase their ACS fundraising will be recognized and rewarded at the state level. Outstanding chapters, like those that raise the most money in their regions, will receive an upgraded chapter status with reduced dues and reserved seating at the state conference. With the help of all of you, we can take the steps to bring PATSA's ACS fundraising to a level never seen before. During my time in local office and on a state committee, I learned valuable skills necessary for a state officer. In serving as chapter secretary and on the bylaw and resolution review committee, I developed key collaboration and organization skills, and now I'm prepared to bring those to the PATSA state officer team. As we prepare for the state conference and officer elections roll around, I can't wait for the chance to be elected to the 2022 to 2023 PATSA state officer team. If you have any questions about me or my campaign, please don't hesitate to come and talk to me or visit my Instagram @WilliamForTreasurer once the state conference begins for more information. PATSA, I can't wait to make our community stronger than ever with you. Remember, PATSA will rise up with Reisner.
Pennsylvania TSA, we are running out of time. During the past 2 years of COVID, our organization has suffered the loss of over 50% of its members. We need to rebuild. That's where I come in. My name is Miriam Ruback, and I am running to be your next state treasurer. Over the past year, I've served as the conference fundraising subcommittee chair under the National Service Project. I've attended multiple regional conferences and spoke directly to you and your advisors and heard how hard it has been. I have 3 initiatives to rebuild PATSA for our current and future members. Number 1, I want to create a fund to help more schools rejoin TSA. As treasurer, I will propose that we have a process to waive state affiliation fees for new and inactive schools next year. National TSA has a champion fund, which does exactly that at the national level. We should take from their success and implement a similar program here in PA. Number 2, I want to create an interviewed fundraising representative position for NSP. The person who will hold this office will visit regions yearly and find out directly what PATSA students and advisors need. Fundraising is not a one-size-fits-all solution. Different chapters need different resources, which is why we need to visit different regions. Number 3, I want to hold a new American Cancer Society fundraising event at the state conference, such as a cardboard boat race. This unofficial new competition would bring together teams from all across schools who would pay an entrance fee that would be donated to the ACS. This would not only support a great cause, but be a fun way to connect with your teammates and people from other schools. As you can probably tell, we don't have much time. So when you make your vote, remember to move forward with Ruback.
My name is Erin Mckendree, and I'm running to be your next PATSA State Secretary. I'm sure you're wondering, what can I do for you? Well, let's talk about it. PATSA has worked tirelessly to provide us with a ton of resources, but it seems like we've lost them. After all that searching, it seems like we found some, but they're pretty disorganized. With me as your secretary, I would work to sort all of these into nice, orderly collections. The collections would be based on subject matters, age group, and more, aiming to ensure easy and comprehensive answers to any question you may ask. I would also work to create new resources, especially for largely uncovered topics. The end result would be a powerful network of student and advisor resources that would strengthen our organization as a whole. On the topic of strengthening PATSA, let's talk about establishing a stable web of cooperative relationships between us and other organizations. Simply put, I would like to build a series of strong relationships with sponsors, the general public, and other like-minded organizations. Such cooperation would bring mutual benefits to all parties and unlock new opportunities for you. But enough with all this business. Let's get to the fun. Whew, that's better. If there's one thing I've learned with PATSA, it's that it's all about having fun. That's why I've devised a plan for student mini competitions. These competitions, occurring on a bi-monthly basis, will cover a variety of topics through short, immersive prompts designed to help students better their technical skill and enjoy the best of PATSA. Not to mention, who doesn't like a bit of friendly competition? All of this seems quite big, but let's not forget that the small things are equally as important. Such is most definitely the case through my Scholarship Booster initiative. Through the powers of effective outreach, I hope to contact prominent scholarship sites and ensure that they have an understanding of our organization and its merit, giving you all the recognition you deserve. Let's not forget the Tallow Badge as a cool bonus. So, with me as your secretary, all this and more could come true, but it's all up to you. Wait, before you go, remember to start declaring a vote for Erin.
When I joined TSA in 6th grade, I was introduced to an incredible community of people. TSA has also taught me invaluable leadership skills that I have strengthened throughout the years by serving as a chapter president, vice chair, and lead representative for my region. PATSA, my name is Kathryn Smith, and I am thrilled to be a candidate for your 2022-2023 State Secretary. As your secretary, I will utilize my resources, experiences, and ideas to strengthen our community. My first initiative as your secretary will be to expand on resources available to our members. I will implement a monthly newsletter on the latest STEM opportunities, such as summer programs, internships, classes, and more. This new resource will allow our members to strengthen our experiences in STEM. As chair of the Outreach Committee, I will prioritize increasing PATSA awareness by establishing a subcommittee dedicated to chapter recruitment. This subcommittee will contact unaffiliated schools in Pennsylvania and assist them through the process of affiliation. Additionally, this subcommittee will also establish a chapter mentorship program where new chapters can be linked to already existing chapters within their region to lead these newer chapters into their successful development. I will also work to provide you, members of PATSA, with the thing you have been asking for years, a solution to the high cost of our state conference, which currently poses a great financial burden to some of your members. As your secretary, I will create a new $450 state conference scholarship. I will work alongside the elected state treasurer in organizing both virtual fundraisers and in-person fundraisers at our regional conference to cover this scholarship. Any PATSA member will be able to apply for this scholarship to aid them in covering the cost of the state conference, and the recipient will be selected by the board of directors. For the 2022-2023 school year, I envision a PATSA working to provide its membership with an abundance of STEM-oriented resources, actively working to increase PATSA awareness, and creating a way to make our state conference more accessible. If you envision this PATSA as well, then remember to vote for Kathryn Smith as your next state secretary.
Hey PATSA, I'm Zainal Salim, your 2021-2022 State Sergeant-at-Arms, and I have the privilege of being your candidate for State Vice President. I'd like to start by thanking all of you for supporting me throughout my TSA career. I've had the opportunity of working with so many extraordinary people throughout my time in TSA, and for that I am extremely grateful. Something I love about this organization is that it gives ambitious individuals, as young as middle schoolers, the opportunity to thrive and grow as leaders. I am honored to now be able to give young members the support and inspiration that sparked my journey. As your next Vice President, something I wanted to work on is regional leadership and connectivity. I will make it a goal of the Regional Representatives Committee to work on sharing ideas and initiatives between multiple regions. Connecting our state through additional measures will help us grow after the decline we've seen from the pandemic. We can cater specific resources to different regions that need more support. Additionally, I plan to carry on and further develop the hard work of this year's state officer team. Our future is unknown, and while I can't promise that someone won't get locked on a balcony like I once did, I do promise that you and I can foster greatness for PATSA. Thank you.
PATSA, in the past 5 years, I've had the most rewarding experience serving you on the state level through committees and running for state office. I remember my first campaign at our last in-person conference 3 years ago. I was only in 8th grade, and even though I lost, it only fueled my inspiration. Full of new, bright ideas, I tried again the following year. And through perseverance and dedication, I had the honor of being appointed state parliamentarian. And today, I have the great privilege to be able to speak to you here at Seven Springs once again, as your state secretary. As it has been a goal of the state officer team this year, you may have noticed an abundance of new resources aimed at both students and chapters recently appearing on the PATSA website. This has also been a major focus of mine, together with the members of the Outreach Committee, whom I owe a special thanks to. A president's role goes beyond the personal initiatives. They have a responsibility to guide the state officer team towards a collaborative effort. Returning from COVID, we've seen a significant decrease in membership. The state officer team must work to rebuild our membership and promote growth within our state delegation. There is no immediate solution to this issue, so I'd like to take a page from Robert's Rule of Order and move the committee. Through the creation of the Recruitment Special Committee, members will be able to brainstorm and share new comprehensive ideas for chapter recruitment. Furthermore, the committee's chair will be appointed from the general membership. I would also like to develop a TSA resume to help members record their TSA accomplishments in a way that appeals to the college admission officers. PATSA, the power is now in your hands, and we have the ability to make meaningful change. And together, we can lead the way for PATSA. Thank you.
Right now, Pennsylvania TSA is at a turning point. After years of uncertainty and turmoil, we're finally returning to normal. Normal conferences, normal events. But what if we could do so much better than normal?
I've accomplished a lot as your state reporter this past year. I created a toolkit to help chapters rebuild their membership, designed a guide to make finding answers to questions easier, implemented a video tutorial series to help new members navigate TSA, spearheaded Gamers vs. Cancer, which has raised over $1,400 for the American Cancer Society, and I'm not ready to stop there.
As president, I'll create a grievance form that will allow you to communicate problems surrounding events. For example, if you had a concern about how an event was being judged, or ran into a problem with your event, your advisor could submit the grievance form. Submissions determined to be legitimate would be addressed, ensuring that your concerns are being heard and solved.
I think we can all agree that states is too expensive. I want to fix this by publicizing and restructuring our sponsorship system. Instead of asking for sponsorship through specific channels like certain events, I want to incorporate a tiered system where any individual or company can donate to our organization as a whole. Sponsors who weren't able to fit into those specific categories before can now donate, expanding our ability to raise funds and lowering the cost of states. If you haven't noticed already, we've lost a lot of members and chapters. Let's rebuild our membership by reaching out to chapters that recently left TSA due to COVID and some new ones along the way. Between our existing resources and providing one-on-one support, we can help get them back on their feet.
Finally, we need to do more to help struggling chapters. Buying materials and tools for events can be extremely costly, especially to those who are already hurting. I'll create a library of donated materials such as laptops and voting supplies that we'll distribute to chapters in need.
Pennsylvania TSA, let's stop wishing for normalcy because honestly, it was never perfect to begin with. Instead, let's fight for change, push boundaries, and take our organization to new heights. If that's the future you want to see when voting, remember, excel with Michelle.
All right, so I'm very loud. That concludes our speeches section of today. We're now gonna move into Q&A. So current state officers, if you guys can get in your positions. When I say so, we're gonna have delegates who have questions line up at this mic over here. So you're just gonna make a line that wraps around that way. Questions can be directed either to individual offices, an entire office, or to all candidates. Please make sure to keep them appropriate. We shouldn't have any issues there. Candidates, you guys are limited to 45 seconds in your answers. At 30 seconds, I'm gonna put a hand on your shoulder, and then at 45 seconds, I'm gonna take the mic from you. We're gonna end this at 10:30, so if you have questions, hurry on up. Does anyone have any questions before we begin? And just as a reminder, only delegates can ask questions. No questions? All right, if you are a delegate who has questions, come on up to the mic. If you are a candidate, come on up to the stage. Huh? Oh, are you gonna use your phone? Yeah, I can. Yeah. My phone's gonna die. All right, yeah, I can use mine. I was planning on using mine. Yeah. So, Sergeant at Arms is gonna be down here, and we'll go in alphabetical order by last name.
second for Sergeant Arms.
Alphabetical which way?
You. Well, yeah, because I asked you.
Miriam's in the back. Miriam, you're in the back row.
All right, that's perfect.
All right, we are good to get started. Can everyone quiet down, please? Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Hello. I wanted to ask a question to the candidates for state secretary. So what experience do you have on the outreach committee or leading an outreach program at your school or things of that nature?
That's an excellent question. So I'm currently serving as the Outreach Committee's vice chair and have been on the committee for 3 years. Working as vice chair, I've gotten to see kind of how the position of secretary works and some of the inner workings regarding business. I've had a role in a lot of our initiatives and would really look forward to continuing those. Thank you.
Hi, thank you for your question. So this year on Outreach, I worked to develop templates to aid newer chapters with planning spreadsheets. Additionally, outside of Outreach, I served as Region 5's lead rep this year, where I planned student-led initiatives at our regional conference. Thank you.
Hi, I have a oh my gosh, I have a question for the president candidates, and that is, I know that you both have state officer experience, and I was wondering what's your biggest accomplishment and to describe it so far with being on the state officer team.
And real quick, for all candidates, make sure you hold the mic pretty close to your face so we can all hear you.
I said, what's your biggest accomplishment from being on the state officer team, and to just describe it a little bit.
So I think my biggest accomplishment working on the state officers team this year definitely has to be that the resources that I helped develop along with the state officers team and the outreach committee. I feel that those will have like a long-lasting beneficial impact and will be able to be used for many years in the future. That's probably the thing I'm probably most proud of in my 2 years as a state officer.
I've done a lot as your state reporter this past year, but if I had to pick one, I think it would be Gamers versus Cancer. I have a love-hate relationship with this one. It took a lot of time to set up, and we ran into so many problems. But in the end, we were able to raise over $1,400 for the American Cancer Society, which was amazing. And it really showed what we can do when we come together. I would love to continue doing this in the future. And honestly, especially like the American Cancer Society fundraising, I know cancer affects pretty much everyone, and especially me too. Yeah. All right, cool. But yeah, I'm really proud of what we've been able to accomplish together.
I have a question for the secretary candidates. Each of you posed a scholarship initiative. I was just wondering how those would actually be funded.
So my scholarship initiative is a booster initiative. So essentially, instead of focusing on like PATSA funding this scholarship, we would actually reach out to prominent scholarship sites that entirely focus on scholarships. Currently, colleges are very aware of us, but scholarship sites have a lot to offer to PATSA's delegation. And I think it's very important for them to be fully aware of all the hard work that you all do. And by focusing with them, they have the funding, and they would provide many more opportunities.
So my scholarship initiative is to create a $450 state conference scholarship. This scholarship will aid members who are struggling with the financial burden of our state conference into alleviating some of that cost. The scholarship will be funded by both virtual and in-person fundraisers hosted throughout the year, so no funding would come from any other PATSA initiative, nor be required for the board of directors for necessarily approval. I would work alongside the elected PATSA state treasurer to get their insight into making sure these fundraisers are successful. Thank you.
This is a question for those who are running for treasurer. What experience do you have with the National Service Project Committee, and do you have any leadership experience on it?
That's a great question. I'm currently this is my second year in TSA. So last year I didn't get a chance to join many committees, but in the future, if I get elected for the state treasurer position, I'll be joining many more, and I will be joining, in addition, the National Service Project.
Similarly, I didn't really get much of a chance to do that, but if the opportunity comes, I would love to take a leadership position in the National Service, and I would love to do that.
So I'm also currently not serving on NSP, but I've worked along members of the National Service Project Committee, and I did help with Miracle Minute today.
Thank you. This year I served as the chair of the Regional Fundraising Committee under the National Service Project, and I got to visit multiple regional conferences and speak directly to students and advisors on how to improve their fundraising needs. And it was really wonderful working with the state treasurer this year, learning how to submit proposals and work together to make NSP better. Thank you.
This question is for the candidates running for reporter. PATSA have already established an Instagram account, but certain groups, like those who haven't been put into in-person conferences, are not connected. What is your plan to connect those individuals with our social media platforms?
I thank you for that question, because that is a big problem today. As a reporter, I would send emails to advisors directly to share with those individuals who do not have those connections. All my information that I hope to bring as reporter will be sent through newsletters and my new initiatives as stated in my campaign. These advisors hopefully will send all that information directly to the students, and all the information will be shared for everybody.
Hello, and thank you for that question. The way I wanted to go through with this project was through one of my initiatives, which agrees with Charlize, the newsletter. I feel like the newsletter will both help advisors that are still here and the upcoming advisors for new chapters that will start a chapter in the near future. This will both help them connect to the PATSA Instagram as well as just PATSA in general. I feel like that will be able to
that will be able to help further our PATSA cause and also increase the yeah, I'm sorry.
Thank you for your question. My main initiative is to create a doc with all the resources linked. So we would have all of our social medias linked in the single doc, and all it would require was one share from an advisor or officer to the member to get all the resources. So not just the social medias, but any sort of resource relating to PATSA. Thank you.
This question is directed to the Sergeant at Arms candidates. As the doorkeeper of the organization, how do you plan to welcome and transition new members into TSA and the state conference?
Hello. So as we all know, a lot of people this year and in presumably future years haven't been to a state conference before. So what I think we need to do is bring back the welcome to PATSA sign that they used to have right outside of Seven Springs as we were coming in. They got rid of it this year, and it's quite a tragedy. But in terms of more substantial things, I think we need to work to make sure that everyone knows that there are resources available at the rooms near Evergreen so that people can actually go and meet with the people they need to talk to for events and things. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. So one thing I want to do is create a toolkit, kind of like a States for Dummies. Something I found out through the past day talking to all of you is that it's really hard for you guys to find things, like you're getting lost or the semifinalist postings, or you guys just don't know what's happening around multiple different places. So this toolkit will have everything in a specific place, and I plan on giving this to advisors a couple of weeks before the conference happens so they can review it with their members so everybody knows what's happening at all different times and they're not confused.
All right, I really like this question a lot because a lot of my initiatives do focus on sort of helping integrate new members into TSA, and I really want to do this by making sure that every member is able to navigate states really well and that they're not lost and they're not sprinting to their events 10 minutes before it happens. And I really want to do this by initiating different aspects such as new subcommittees in order to help integrate new members into these into states so that they are able to feel welcome. And I also want to do this by providing digital maps that are found on the PATSA website so that members can access that so they're not lost within the conference.
Great question, and this actually goes back to my second initiative that I was talking about today while campaigning. So what I want to do is create resources for new Pennsylvania TSA members. So I would do this by creating a new to state special interest session with the CSAC committee that would take place on the Wednesday night when we first get to states. Countless times today, people had to ask me for directions because they couldn't figure out where their events were. I would solve this issue by running the new to state special interest session that would essentially serve as a guided tour of Seven Springs so we can show people where their events are taking place. But also, it would serve as a special opportunity to highlight the special interest sessions that are occurring over the state complex, so to ensure that everyone knows what's happening and we can make the most of your time at Seven Springs at your first state conference. Thank you.
So this is a question for all the candidates. I know that some of you touched on this, but what is your plan to maintain and rebuild membership, especially after the hit it took over the past few years?
I have two big plans for growing and maintaining the membership, both at the local level and at a statewide level. First, I think we as TSA need to reach out to groups that have been historically underrepresented in STEM. By doing so, we get a new pool for recruiting and new members. Second, I think we need to help chapters with their advertising at the beginning of the year. So how we're going to do that is at the state conference, we're going to host a advertising workshop where state officer teams can come, they can create advertisements, videos, pamphlets, etc. That way, as they go into next year, they have the tools they need to recruit new members. Thank you. Let's do it.
Thank you for your question. Something I want to do to grow our membership after the coronavirus is reach out to chapters and see how it's been personally affecting them and where they're really hitting their losses. This past year, our chapter grew by around 50 members by incorporating new techniques so we can get more people into the club. What I want to do is put resources on the PATSA website so people can get new members into their chapter the same way we did.
Yeah, this is a really good question. I know for me, especially being in high school, for members, a lot of people don't join TSA as a high schooler, and they usually do it in middle school and stick to that. And I want to change this by making TSA a more personable and welcoming experience, by making sure that every member who does sign up for TSA, that they do feel that every single event that they do occur, and that every single competition that they participate in, they are welcomed by this. And that is also through the subcommittees that I will also implement, that members will all have overall a great experience within the conference. Thank you.
Hey, PATSA. So first, to improve retention among our returning PATSA members, what I want to do is focus on our social media presence. Right now, many of our social media platforms are seeing very low engagement. I believe one of the most important things we can do is streamline the social media with shorter videos and things that are easier to digest to make sure our members are staying connected with Pennsylvania TSA all year. And second, to try to bring up our membership levels, I think at the Flex conference, we could incorporate a session that focuses on recruiting new members. I believe recruitment is something that differs between chapters, and it'd be a great opportunity at the Flex conference for people to share their experiences with recruitment and what worked for their chapters, and that could be applied to other chapters. Thank you.
That is a really good question and a very good point. As a reporter, my main focus is social media presence, and I feel as that is a big role throughout this. If we do not have a good presence, we will currently lose members. And with my initiatives, I want to strengthen that presence and make a brand new image with my website designs and new forms of social media. Also, my dummy guides will have sections on how to fundraise and recruitment events, how to expand your chapter to the best of your abilities, ways to get your chapter name out, how to get like school announcement scripts, and other things like that. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. To regain members for CBTSA, I feel like we should also look at gaining members in general, not just from the chapters we lost, from chapters we are about to obtain. In our area specifically, in Region 3, I've known many schools, and I was talking about this in our general casual Q&A, that schools like Central Dauphin, Dallastown, they've never even heard of TSA, and I feel like that's a big loss to many schools. They aren't getting the same leadership and STEM abilities that us students are able to get, and I feel like that getting new members and regaining through our newsletter that will help both inside and outside the TSA community will support this. Thank you.
I want to create a statewide recruitment night. A night where all the chapters across our state will hold an event to recruit new members. If you recruit a new member, you'll get some sort of prize. We all know that recruitment comes face to face. As a state officer team, you can only do so much because you can't meet with every single person. So we need to work on engaging every single member in order to recruit new members. Thank you.
I believe we can get new members after the coronavirus pandemic by increasing the advertising and awareness of TSA through the forms of posters and through the forms of fundraising, potentially showing some exciting events such as bake-offs, movie nights, and other fundraising events.
I believe that recruitment for new members all stems from chapter to chapter, so I believe that helping each individual chapter with their advertising and recruitment will ultimately lead to new members. For instance, my school has a club fair, and helping my school advertise at the club fair would really greatly increase member recruitment. I think that's the best way to gain members after the coronavirus.
Thank you for the question. One of my main initiatives is to organize meetings between members of our state officer team and our members to help them plan fundraising events. These events will help build a stronger connection between our state officer team and our chapters, make our PATSA community stronger, and most of all, encourage new members to join this great organization.
Thank you. One of my main initiatives is to waive affiliation fees for smaller schools, because what we're seeing across the board is that the smaller schools are dropping off because they're losing members, and it all comes down to money. That is why we need to have a fund to waive affiliation fees and therefore increasing our chapter membership back to pre-COVID days. Thank you.
So, as a part of my networking initiative, I mentioned working with fellow organizations. By expanding our sphere of influence and forming strong relationships with fellow organizations, we will expand TSA's image to a new audience, gaining old chapters back and maybe even more. Not to mention, by reorganizing the already existing resources, current chapters may find all of the resources regarding gaining members in one place, allowing them to see all we have to offer, as we've worked for years to achieve these resources. Thank you.
As your secretary and chair of the outreach committee, one of my primary initiatives will be to increase PATSA awareness by establishing a subcommittee dedicated to chapter recruitment. After contacting unaffiliated schools in Pennsylvania and promoting PATSA to them, the subcommittee will assist unaffiliated schools through the process of affiliation to determine what affiliation fees will be best for them. Afterwards, the new schools will be able to be linked in a chapter mentorship program where they will be connected to other schools in their region to ensure chapter retention. Thank you.
All right, I finally get a question. So something I would do as vice president is use the regional representatives committee to strengthen our regional conferences. I believe if we have better regional conferences, it will be more enticing for members who've maybe never gone to the state conference. They don't know how fun it is. If we can make our regional conferences even better, we would have more support and stop distracting me.
So I think we can all agree that most recruitment happens at the chapter level. Currently, PATSA already has an abundance of resources for chapter recruitment, including templates with template posters and social media posts. But I would like to create a recruitment special committee because there's only so much resources you can make before it's just more of the same. The committee would help, it would gather members from chapters throughout the state, and it would help them share ideas on recruitment strategies. It would also serve as a reminder that this is the period for recruitment, and these are the members you're going to end up with for the rest of the year. I know my chapter elects our officers in the beginning of the year, so we do recruitment before that, and it's kind of important that when we're supposed to be recruiting, we're recruiting. Thank you.
First, I'd like to say that as your state reporter, I've already worked towards increasing member recruitment. This past year, I created a member recruitment toolkit. It has frequently asked questions, step-by-step guide, as well as promotional materials for chapters to use. But of course, I still want to go further. So combining all of our toolkits as well as our video tutorial series, I want to incorporate one-on-one meetings and reach out to chapters we've recently lost due to COVID, as well as some new ones along the way. Now's a perfect time to rebuild, and through these meetings, chapters will have someone that they'll always have to go to.
So this is for treasurers. Do you plan to continue the fundraising initiatives that past teams have started?
Yes, I do believe it's important to continue the fundraising initiatives of past TSA state officers because it's important to continue the recruitment and continue the incentive in staying in TSA and to improve all of the different privileges that we may have, such as coming to the Seven Springs Resort.
I feel like this is more on like a case-by-case basis, so it depends. Like some fundraisers will continue. I mean, I think most will actually, but some fundraisers that have like kind of like run its course and like done what it's need to do, I don't think those will need to continue for past years and just like, so it's ultimately just a case-by-case basis and depends on how the fundraiser's doing and how it's projected to do in the future.
Thank you for the question. I think it's really important to continue the fundraising initiatives we have now, like Miracle Minute. It's a really great way to fundraise for a great cause. The ACS, I think it's really cool what PATSA does. And I'd also like to expand our fundraising by working directly with our chapters to help them plan fundraising events and continue improving our ACS fundraising. Thank you.
Thank you. It is so important that we, the students, currently continue the work of previous students. And that's why I think we need to build on the initiatives that previous students have had. Some of my initiatives will work towards that, such as waiving affiliation fees, but also creating a regional fundraising representative committee under the NSP committee would allow direct connections through each of the regions through different fundraising expertise. Thank you.
My name is Ken. I come from Quakertown, which is a relatively small chapter this year, and I'd just like to ask the secretaries what they plan to do about getting more kids, especially younger kids, into the club this year so that we can sustain its growth.
So as I mentioned with the kind of membership recruitment question, I aim to organize all of the resources that PATSA has worked years to generate. At this point, we've generated most resources that we have to offer, but they're so scattered that they're difficult to find. They would be easy to access after I organize them so that your chapter, as well as many other small chapters, may utilize the entirety of what we have to offer and get more members. Thank you.
As your secretary, I will implement a monthly newsletter on the latest STEM opportunities, such as summer programs, classes, internships, and more. Hypothetically, this monthly newsletter will follow a timeline, such as November's newsletters providing a matrix of all the opportunities available to members of PATSA, December being tips on how to obtain letters of recommendation and get your transcripts from your counselors, January's newsletter being tips on how to write your strong personal statements, especially for those ones of summer classes and summer programs, and for February's newsletters to be application dates and reminders and information on how to gain financial aid. Thank you.
Okay, hi, my question is for the candidates of president. Can you each give one reason why the delegates should vote for your competitor? So, each of you.
So I've had the pleasure of working with my competitor for this entire year, as well as during the state conference. I can tell you she is overwhelmingly qualified for this position, and that either of us will be great candidates for president. No matter which one of us you choose, we will have a great state officer team next year.
Yes, similar to what Benny said. Actually, if you see the t-shirts outside, those limited edition t-shirts, that's something we actually work together on. And it's been wonderful working with Benny this year. He's super hardworking and he's super passionate about TSA. And yeah, like whatever you guys choose, know that PATSA is in good hands.
Thank you.
All right, last but not least, I think some of you know what's coming. I suppose this is one of the perks of being a senior on my last run, but in continuance of the long-standing tradition of PATSA candidate Q&As for all candidates, if you could choose to be a fruit, which one would you choose and why?
Let me first answer the question. I would be a pear because I pair great with PATSA. However, I've got 45 seconds here. What they never ask is how you would be a fruit. I, for one, would wear a pear costume if it would make PATSA a better place for everyone. Thank you. Let's do it.
Okay, well, I think I should be a raisin because I'll raise PATSA to the top.
All right, if I would be a fruit, I'd be a passion fruit because I am passionate about PATSA and making a difference.
Hey PATSA, if I could be a fruit, I'd be an apple, because just like me, apples are versatile, from desserts to drinks, just like my 3 initiatives to boost PATSA. So remember, we can construct a brighter future together.
Love that question with my whole heart and soul. I would be a mango, and I would be a mango-nificent reporter for you all. Thank you.
Thank you. I've been waiting for this question. If I were to be a fruit, I would be a star fruit because I want to be the compass for all you students.
My name is Hannah. I'd be a banana because I'm appealing to vote for reporter.
My name is Saharsha, and I would be an apple because I could be baked, put in salads, or eaten in many ways, making me... So what I meant to say, it means I can be adaptable and I can be versatile to whatever PATSA may need.
My name is Sa. Be a watermelon because I got the hard skills on the outside and the soft skills on the inside.
If I was a fruit, I would be a tomato because I love PATSA from my head to my toes.
Hi, PATSA. If I were a fruit, I'd be a kiwi because I'm the kiwi to the future of Pennsylvania TSA. Thank you.
I'd like to apologize in advance. I'm extremely bad at this question. If I would be a fruit, I would be a cherry because I'm a cheery person.
If I could be a fruit, I would be a grapefruit because I am grateful for the wonderful community that PATSA has provided me, and I would be so incredibly grateful for your vote as your next state secretary so I could give back to our incredible organization. Thank you.
Before I answer the question, I'd just like to congratulate everyone up here just for running. It takes a lot of courage and dedication just to run, and I can tell just by these lovely candidates that we're going to have a great team next year. But to answer your question, I would be a banana because I'm bananas for PATSA.
I would be an olive because I live for PATSA.
I would be a pineapple because I'm always wearing a crown.
All right, let's give one more round of applause for all of our candidates. All right, thank you to everyone who showed up. Delegates, just as a reminder, you're going to need those codes that you received tonight to be able to vote. Voting is open from 10 to 3 tomorrow, right up here on stage. Thank you all.